Hi everybody, so today we will talk about the quotient rule. The quotient rule is a rule that helps us find the derivative of a quotient of two functions. So let's say that I have f over g and I have to find its derivative. Then the quotient rule gives us the formula, the form, how to evaluate this. This is f prime times g minus f times g prime. Pay attention, this is just a minus here, and then I divide this by the denominator square. So the easy thing here is that when you use the quotient rule, you just square the denominator and leave it as such throughout the this process, and then in the numerator you have the derivative of the numerator times the denominator minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator. Let's do an example right now. Let's say that our function, whose derivative we have to find out, is x cubed minus 1 divided by 2x squared plus x. Okay, so y prime is going to be equal to, so first I'm going to identify my numerator, I'll call this f, and the denominator g. And I'm going to follow the formula right here, so that's f prime times g. So let's write that down. The derivative of x cubed minus 1 prime times the denominator 2x squared plus x minus, okay, the numerator, so that only x cubed minus 1 times the derivative of the denominator. The derivative of the denominator is 2x squared plus x prime. And then the denominator of this derivative is the easiest one, because all you have to do is just square the denominator. So I'm just going to write 2x squared plus x. I'm going to copy the denominator and raise it to the power 2. On the side you can find these two derivatives. So this is the first one, x cubed minus 1 prime. We know that the difference of derivative of a difference is the difference of the derivatives. Derivative of x cubed minus derivative of 1. For the derivative of x cubed, we use the exponent rule, drop down the exponent, times x to power 1 less than 3, that's 2, minus derivative of 1 is 0, so the derivative of x cubed minus 1 is only 3x squared. So let's write that down. So this is equal to 3x squared times 2x squared plus x. Okay, so this is just this part right here. And we follow the formula, minus x cubed minus 1 times this derivative that I'm going to evaluate on the side, derivative of 2x squared plus x prime. Again, here I have derivative of a sum, which is the sum of the derivative 2x squared prime plus x prime, which is equal to 2 times 2x. I use the exponent rule, plus derivative of x is just 1, so that simplifies to 4x plus 1. So this derivative is just 4x plus 1, and I'm gonna copy it here, times 4x plus 1 divided by, as I said, you just copy the denominator as such, which is just the denominator squared. And this is it with when it comes down to the quotient rule. You can simplify this, or you can leave it like this, depending on the question. If you're asked just to use the derivative, you can stop right here. But when we have to use other the derivative for other purposes, we'll have to simplify this, and we will do this in the following examples.